in a couple of different ways as an experiment. All right, so I have come a couple of times now, haven't I? I know some of my talks have been over Zoom, which we're kind of hoping that we can figure out a way to do because I will be going back to Oregon soon. So technology is not a nemesis, it is our future. We're going to embrace the ability, and we can all pray about that. How do we learn to Zoom and do the other technology all at the same time so that they're happy together? So today's talk is out of some information I gleaned from Andre. Andre is a group of beings who enlightened me to a path of least resistance. I was resisting. For years and years and years, I was resisting. I would meditate and then I would not be meditating and then step out of my meditation area and all of a sudden chaos was there. And I just finally had a hissy fit. And I said, I want the two to be one. No more this line in the sand. And I got kind of like this about it, actually. I did. Because I had nicely asked for years. And then finally I said, okay, no more. This is crazy. I am so in the vibration here, and yet I am so out of the vibration there. So that's when I started writing this. Today's topic is, this is the only moment. This very second. Now, this is the only moment. And now this is the only moment. Do you see where I'm going with that? I hope. So the premise of the work that I'm trying to communicate is, how do you blend the desires of your soul self with what your personality self is already engaged in? So we're not looking to eliminate one. We're not saying the personality self habits are bad. We're just saying, let's take a different perspective. How do we blend these ideals? How do you take what you learn in church home? As a kid, I asked that question. But so the basic premise is that the personality self decisions are habit-based and they're in the past. That doesn't mean they're bad. It just is. It is who we are. We have a physical being on the earth planet. We are blending the desires of our soul and or guides or whatever you want to call them with our day-to-day activities. And sometimes we do that really well. Sometimes we don't. Soul self decisions are based in the moment, in the now. So if you are engaged in an activity that is personality-based habits, tying your shoes, your soul self doesn't usually get involved too much unless you ask for help. I can't remember how to do it, right? So, and some of us probably have been there. So basically what we're trying to do with this is say, okay, I want to be aware of the now so that I can actually stand in the presence of my personality self blended with my soul self. And how do you do that? So you, as a being of light, which by the way you are, everybody is big. We're not little, we are huge, we go way out. And during some of the prayers, you could actually feel a vibration. I don't know if anybody else was able to feel it, but if we are gathered together, the vibration is more intensified. It isn't that it's really less when you're by yourself, it's that it's just easier to feel when you're with like-minded individuals. It truly isn't that you're smaller by yourself. I think we don't think that way as a group. I never did until I started working on this and beating my, hey, I want more information, I want more information. So as a group, obviously it's easier to provide a power. As an individual, it's just as easy. It's just you have to finely tune that connection. All right, so when you are the most powerful, when is that? As an individual. Power in some spiritual settings is kind of a negative word to use. People may think it's negative, but in my talk, I'm meaning the word power as in the most useful. When am I the most useful? How does that sound? When am I able to provide? That's power. And the moment is now. You aren't as powerful yesterday as you are now. You aren't as powerful tomorrow as you are now. Does that make sense? Does it make you kind of vibrate when you hear that? Because I'm just vibrating everywhere. So, okay, so then you say, okay, I'm powerful now. So what does that mean? So what am I able to do now that I really can't do yesterday? What am I not able to do tomorrow that I can do now? Well, guess what? A lot. What we're able to do is become the nowness of the moment. I create words as I go. Sorry about that. Physically, where you're standing or sitting, or gardening, or praying, or driving your car, your physicalness is your nowness, but it includes your thoughts. So, you can be daydreaming and doing your gardening. Or you can be in the moment and doing your gardening. Does that make sense? So choosing where your thoughts are to create the now, to allow it to be as powerful as possible, is by choosing your thoughts to be in this moment. Thoughts have energy. We can manifest. Many of us do that. Well, actually, every single one of you already know how to do it. It's whether or not you're doing it what you want to be doing, right? So you're physically here, so you manifested. That's just the way it is. So by creating a nowness, you become more powerful because your thoughts are with your physical form. Where are your thoughts? Are they in yesterday as you're gardening? You're touching the soil of the earth, and you're thinking about the fight you had with somebody yesterday? Or you're writing, you're creating, you're painting, you're creating. Your creating will be affected by your thoughts. Where are they? Are they in, oh my gosh, I need to go to the grocery store. I got to remember bananas this time. I am so tired of forgetting bananas. So I am in the moment, I think. I'm meditating. I am gardening. I am anything, truly anything. You're driving the car. You're stopped at a red light. Are you thinking about something else? Or are you driving the car with respect, with love? Are you engaged with your physical activity? Is it engaged with your mind? As soon as you connect the two, you're in communication with your soul self. It is a choice. And it is a difficult choice to make. And well, by difficult, I mean habit-based personality self doesn't naturally go there. It goes into, why are they taking so long to turn left? There's nobody there. Why are they not going? Instead of, this is such a beautiful day. I am so grateful that I have a car that works. I have gas in the tank. That's another topic. So do you see where I'm coming from? If you're able to take your physicalness and become nowness with it, oh, that kind of went together. You can create a very strong connection with the guidance of your soul self. Soul self always wants to communicate with you. It's ready, it's on standby. Always, always on standby, not judging you, not judging your thoughts, not judging your actions, not judging you even a little bit, which I think is a little difficult for me to comprehend because I judge everything. And so for me to say that there's an entity out there that judges nothing, it's just really kind of whoosh, right over my head. So here's this immediate connection that I can have sitting at a traffic light or waiting for a train, because I live in Flagstaff a lot of the time. I kind of live everywhere, but so trains are kind of popular in Flagstaff. And so then you get the train, you finally get, okay, there's the end of it. And then another train from the opposite direction comes. And so then you're like, well, that gives me more time to be with whomever I'm sitting with. Or it gives me more time to do a short chant or a short prayer. So in other words, I chose my personality self, immediately went to, my personality self made me little. And then I said, no, I'm going to say a prayer, or I'm going to say a chant, or I'm going to sing, and I got big. So big is good. Little, tight, tense, pain is not good. So, as far as connecting with your soul self, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Because truly there really isn't a right and a wrong way to do all this. It's just one of the ways to connect is to be as big as you can. To expand, to feel the energy, and then automatically connected. So the isness of the moment is right now. It includes your thoughts. Tomorrow, what about tomorrow? Tomorrow is an illusion, truly. I mean, if you get up to the spiritual planes, tomorrow is an illusion. The only thing that's going on is the nowness of the moment, the isness. There may never be a tomorrow for you, particularly in this earth plane. I mean, we don't know, right? So tomorrow can't be powerful. But what it can do is give you an opportunity to set the energy for it. So, you're at the train intersection. You can connect with tomorrowness energy and create flow. If you have a big meeting coming up, or if you have a little meeting coming up, or if you're going to see a friend, or you're going to work in the garden, you can set the energy of that experience, of that physical experience, in a flowing way. So again, I connected with my higher self, my soul self, whatever you want to call it. And then I wasn't in the mood to do a prayer. But I have something on my mind about tomorrow. I can send energy to tomorrow. That is how powerful the now is. Now, it's not that you can say, tomorrow I will get the lottery ticket and win that money, because for some reason that isn't what goes on. I don't think they get that or something, you know. But you can take the situation of the energy of a situation that you're going to be involved in and make it more beautiful. And the way you do that is you visualize the environment and you make it more beautiful to you. Now, if you're a purple person, or a blue person, or a red person, or a white person, whatever colors you love, that's what you want to do. You want to swirl it around, because in that energy is your heart, because that's your favorite, right? So you can swirl the energy of a meeting or of an activity and set the intention that it will be good. I know this to be true. I have thousands of examples that I could say, but 30 minutes isn't enough for that. So the conversations that you're having with people, right now I am connected, by the way, and so I am more powerful because I am connected. If I was just reading rote and not connected, then the ability of you to comprehend this message would not be as good. It wouldn't be as thorough. what would happen is that you would hit and miss. It would come and go. You would get that, but not this, and then get this, but not that. So that's why being connected as a speaker, if you do that, is so important, because you're guided. And you might, it's not that you hear words, say these words, but it is an isness of the moment. It is the flow, and it can be very, very beautiful. Okay, so we talked about tomorrow, an illusion. We can influence the energies by simply visualizing the activities and lifting them up. I had a huge meeting coming up. I used to work at the hospital in Flagstaff, and I did not enjoy the company that I would be involved with, and so I sat down and thought about it. I got in the moment, and I surrounded the energy of that meeting with the brightest, lightest, most loving light that I could, and I visualized that. Everybody was talking together, communicating easily. I visualized that there was an awesome outcome. I just kept going. You know what I mean? You don't have to stop. Now, one of the tricks of this is you want to do it a few times, not just once. It's not once and done, because the energy of the earth plane and people's energy is very powerful, and it's already going in a, let's say, negative direction maybe. So you think of all of the particulars of this meeting, and then you kind of, I said this the other day, pop it like a balloon. You just pop it up again. The energy's going to be high. Pop that balloon up, right? So sure enough, the next day came, and it was the best meeting that we had ever had. It was unbelievable. So even though I have this knowledge and I have the skill set, it still shocks me. I'm in awe of the power of the isness of this moment and what we can all do. This is not just me, guys. This is all of us. Now, we talked about tomorrow. What about yesterday? Yeah. You already said that to somebody, or did that to somebody, or thought that. You still have influence over the energy of yesterday. How is that possible? It's already happened. Well, from here, and I'm talking high up, there is no such thing as we need it as humans. We have it, we create it, we use it, we blend with it our whole life. We feed our babies on a schedule. I mean, it starts when you're born. You're born at a time. But reality, which is something, but you can influence your past energy, not other people's in the room. Does that make sense? So I think you guys are ready for this. I was hesitant to talk about this, but so I said something very negative. I got upset at somebody yesterday, let's say. And so I am in the moment now. I am connected now, thinking, I am not happy with what I said. It didn't bring joy to anyone in the room, whatever. So you sit down in the moment and you surround that situation with love and light. The same exact way as you would do something for the future. Now, that's weird. How do you do that? When you surround a situation, this is what I find, is it calms the whole thing down a little bit. It takes the edge off of that negative. Usually we're going after a negative something, right? It takes the edge off of that negative experience for you. I'm still stressed out of the fact that I wasn't in the moment and I said those personality-based things. It does work. So you have a history of something 10 years ago that you are just not happy with. Visualize it happening, change the outcome through energy. Now, let's say you had a terrible car wreck. It's not that you're not going to have a terrible car wreck. That's not where I'm going with this. But the outcome can be shifted. The outcome of the energy. Got to say it a different way. I'm not getting a connection here. So, what I'm saying is that I have a situation that I was extremely angry. And I remember it, and it was 10 years ago even. I can visit that energy of me and calm it down and allow it to flow so that my isness now is benefited from it. Maybe that's a better way to say it. Does that make more sense? So again, I'm not changing the past. I'm changing my reaction today of what I did that bothers the bejesus out of me that I did it 10 years ago. Because you're visiting the situation from above, you see it differently. You can have a different perspective on why you said what you said or did. You can also connect with the other individual and understand better what they were thinking. Again, our goal is not to change them. We can't change others. It's hard enough to change ourselves. So I'm visiting something I did in the past that still bothers me. I go and visit it. I'm not scared of it. I go and visit it as a being of light. That's what I'm talking about. Does that make more sense? Yes. Now, this takes practice, practice, practice. So it's not that you go back and visit that interaction that you had and, oh, wow, I feel so much better. It's not like that. When it pops up in your brain, oh man, I wish I hadn't done that. You know how those things happen? They just pop up. That's when you want to get big, connect with all it is, visit that situation, and color it. What will happen is that over time, those situations will become less and less to pop in your head. And it's not that it's not important to you, that you learned from that. You did that, but you learned from it, and now you're trying to bless that learning experience, even if you hurt somebody. It's a learning experience for them as well, but we won't go there. So you now have blessed this situation, and you can now live with it in the now. Because I know I love me. Did you guys do your homework before to look in the mirror and say, I love you? Did anybody find that to be awkward? Isn't it funny?
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's just so weird. I love you. And then the next step, if you can say, I love you to the mirror, you're talking to yourself, is to be able to do that. Can you do that if there's somebody else in the room? Now that's a whole new level, isn't it? That you're acknowledging or accepting the fact that I love me, but it's okay for me to have other people know that I love me. I say that you should do that a lot. I really think that's a great homework. It's so, and some days you're going to love yourself more easily than other days, right? Now, as we age and we look in the mirror, it's a different thing. Or you get a big scar on your face because whatever. And so that's why it's important to continually do that, is that isness of now, you're different. Can I still look in the mirror at the physical form that I'm looking at and say, I love you, I respect you, I need you, I want you. Talk to a lover. I want you. And the reason that you're saying that is, I want you the way you are, not the way I was when I had pictures taken and I was 20. I love me now. And it's okay. And I want to be not walking around and telling the world, I love me, I love me. No, it's a personal thing, because when you can shift that part of yourself, it totally opens up something brand new. Okay, so we went over to yesterday, the perception of your experience that you had in the past and how you can control, no bad word, how you can influence the energy that you experience now about that past experience. And you'll feel it right here. I'm feeling it right now. To do that behavior, to do that activity is a in-the-moment activity to work on the past or the future. You have to be solidly right here. You can't have one toe in and one foot in and one foot out. It just doesn't work. At least it doesn't for me, and if you guys can, show me how. So when you're surrounding the past experience, now if any of you have never done anything that you're embarrassed of or wish you hadn't done, just go ahead and go to sleep, that's cool. But I have a feeling all of us have done things. So remember I was talking about surrounding that situation with light. A spiraling upward light. We think of light as the sun, but our energy ball, if you want to call it a restricted word, is very large. And so if you can visualize yourself in the past doing that lovely activity and let that person that was there get bigger. You can do it with light. You can do it with thought energy of motion. There's all sorts of ways to do it. And the only way to do it right is the way you do it. There's no wrong way. If it works, it works. If your feeling in the gut about that past experience is now calmer, more beautiful, more understanding, more forgiving, see, that's the other part of it. Forgiveness doesn't mean you forget what happened. It means that you have shifted the energy of the situation so that it doesn't bother you as much anymore. It always will be there. And when you do this type of playing, you don't think about it as much either. It doesn't pop into your head at those weird moments. It just is because you're in the moment. All right, how do you stay in the now? How do you stay in this moment? And I've talked about being a watcher before. You have to watch yourself. And it's not that you're split personality suddenly. It's more of an awareness of your thoughts. Where am I right now? Where am I? Am I in yesterday? Am I in tomorrow? Am I in my daughter's house, where I was again? You have to watch yourself. Nobody else can do it for you. Nobody else wants to do it for you. Sorry. So you have to be your own watcher of your nowness, of your isness. If you see a pattern developing, that's really a good thing. So don't get mad at yourself. My goodness, I keep going there. I keep going there. Oh, I am there again. What is with this? That's a good thing. A pattern is something you can actually hang on to and analyze it and look at it and send it love. I love you, right? You're looking in the mirror and you did that. I love you. So if you have patterns that keep happening in your life over and over and over, you have the only responsibility is to look at it with love and light and to say, is this something I want to continue? If you're distracted by something or very stressed, replace those thoughts with joyful thoughts, peaceful thoughts. And that is sometimes difficult to do. And none of this work is easy, I have to say. But if you are in the throes of something negative, find something to shift your energy. And the easiest way to do that is by thinking a positive thought. So even if somebody's politics, religion, whatever it is, they're doing this at you, you don't have to You don't have to blend with that energy. You can find something and your thoughts will shift your energy. Find a different thought. Your actions are also important. So I was saying be a watcher of your thoughts, but you have to be a watcher of your actions. We teach by what we do. We will, so if what you're doing isn't along your chosen, your personal, private chosen path, and your toes are pointed in the wrong direction from where you want to be, it's your honored responsibility to do something about it. So your physical actions also obviously control the now, where you are. If your actions are not bringing other people joy or yourself joy, those are the ones you want to respectfully look at. Beating yourself up just doesn't work. People do not change by beating themselves up. You made yourself. You should be proud of this manifestation. It's amazing. But what would I like to fine-tune about it? What little thing do I want to tweak so that I can communicate better with others, love people better, love myself better? You can find the now in nature. So those of you that do not sit to meditate, fine. You can go out in nature. And as long as your thoughts are not on that airplane that's flying over, or the bird that is squawking at something, squawking at something. So in other words, as long as you are in nature and you're in nature, you're in the moment, you're in now. So people will say, well, I can't meditate. Well, you really do. You just don't realize it. When you go to the Grand Canyon and you see the beauty and you're like, this is fake. It can't be real. You are in the moment. So there are billions of ways to become in the moment without sitting and meditating. Children are in the now a lot of times. When they play 100%, right? They go. And that's exactly. As adults, we don't. We kind of have to do things. We have to do this. We're distracted. That's why we don't remember something, is because we really weren't in the moment. So, oh my gosh, what was her name? I wasn't in the moment when she said her name. That's a big problem for me. If you can be in the moment, you would remember their name without any problem. Or where you put your car keys. Or the list goes on. It's just when we're distracted, we're double tasking, we're multitasking. That isn't being in the moment. Multitasking is not a gift in that respect. Now some people get in the moment through singing, painting. Again, it's all about where your brain is going when you're doing this activity that allows you to connect with your higher self. So the artists, writers, all of these people are so blessed to have the opportunity, especially if they're, I love you while you're doing it. You got it made. Okay, so when you're in the state of nowness, it doesn't mean you're in la la land and you cannot connect with people. That isn't where I'm talking. I have issue with that periodically. If I go into a large or very deep meditation, it's very hard for me to start connecting with my husband when he starts talking. It's like. So when you're in the now, it doesn't mean you're not connected to the world. It just means you're valuing what's going on 100%. Because you love you, I love you. Joy is a side effect of this. Peace. Stress. I mean, the side effects are really good. I haven't found a negative side effect yet. Because that is our natural state. It's just that we've forgotten Well, I don't know that we've forgotten. I don't like saying that. That bothers me whenever I see that. Because, see, we were born into this earth plane. And then the set of rules came to us, right? And what we're trying to do is find the rules that we've left. So we're trying to blend survival with all of the knowledge base that we really have access to. And that's the trick, because we really, and you can talk to people and you just know it, they have figured out the trick. My biggest trick is doing it enough that it comes naturally. If you don't practice, you always have to fight for it. And then it's no fun. And there's no joy. And my entire thought process is, what can I do next to bring joy? Oh, connect. Then you see from a higher perspective, you can integrate things better. You can figure out how to do technology stuff. I remember last time I was talking to you about that. I could not get my Zoom to work. And delete the app. And then reinstall it. And I was like, I can't. Who does that? I can turn it on and off. Yes, that's my, but I'm being told, delete the app. So if I hadn't been connected, I wouldn't have been able to produce on the earth plane as well, if that makes sense. So it does pay you back. I think that many of us kind of go through our day in and out, doing what we think we want to do. But if we truly sit back and just think about our goals, our path, where we want to be, I talked last time about where do you want to be in 2 years, 5 years, 20 years. If you're willing to put the energy into that aspect of it, you're going to find the now, you're going to find the joy, and you're going to be much more successful in what your goals are, just by being in the now. That's it for today. Do you guys have any questions? I'm always open to questions. Yes?
You mentioned somebody that you work with, a guide of some kind?
Yes.
Did you say something?